Hey, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Cam. Ready to do a video. We getting ready to do MAGA evangelicals realize he doesn't know the Bible. Panics. Alright, no time to waste. Let's get it. Let's go. Boom.
Are you religious?
Yes, I am. Yeah.
Do you think Jesus would do mass deportations?
Yes, he would.
Christian nationalists have taken Trump as their new Christ. He's everything the first one was not.
Overall, do you agree with Donald Trump on immigration? I do.
They're bringing crime. They're rapists.
I know it's your shirt. It says God, family, country, Trump, and it's got a cross here.
Just in that order, too.
Do you think Jesus would be deporting people?
Deporting people? See, the difference in...
Like if Jesus Christ were president, do you think he would be rounding people up at immigration hearings?
Of course not.
So it depends. If you're a Pharisee, he'll deport you.
Okay.
So, yes.
What's up, everybody? Major Retired Richard Ojeda here, and we're living in the dumbest times, surrounded by some of the dumbest people to ever walk the face of the earth.
Okay.
And the wild part, they're proud of it. They strut around draped in their Trump, Jesus, country, family uniforms, though the order changes depending on whether they're screaming online or crying in church.
But you know what's interesting though? Like when they put the camera on anybody on either side, they all be dumb. It be left or right, it all be dumb. If you just randomly put the camera on somebody and they ain't ready for the talking point, they're gonna look stupid. That's for sure.
I'm not for deporting all illegals. I'm for due process if you're not committing a crime.
So you're against what's happening right now then?
I didn't say that.
Well, the ICE is deporting people without due process who are not guilty of crimes.
The ones that haven't, the illegals that have not committed a crime and are law-abiding, I think they ought to be due process.
So you're against what's happening right now then?
I'm not against deporting anybody that's committed a crime.
Right, but the people who have not committed a crime, which are many of the people being deported, you said you're against that, so you're against what's happening right now.
They ought to be vetted and screened.
And even though they're not, and they're deported, that's what's happening right now, so you are against that.
Yes, I'm.
Serena.
They say GLP-1s for weight loss.
These freaks of nature failed science, history, and geography, and nodded off in Sunday school. So instead of learning the Bible, they cherry-pick verses to control everyone else's lives.
Okay.
Who are we talking about? The cult of dysfunctionality. The MAGA morons rocking their made-in-China Trump merch, pretending they're God's chosen, while breaking every teaching Christ ever laid down.
Imagine they made-in-China merch.
People out. They're Black Lives Matter. They're Antifa. Oh, any
The last woman too wasn't too irrational.
that doesn't belong here is going to be sent to your front door.
Foreigners are going to be sent to your door?
Foreigners are already here, and they're already set up in the phone, and when somebody gives them the okay, they're going to come for us.
Where did you get this information?
I wonder, is there a better way to inform the public so we're not getting citizens that are like this? Is there any way that we can think about to do it? Is there any way? Because this is kind of ridiculous. If you don't know what you're even talking about, why are you talking? However, though, are we informing people well enough to where they do know what they're talking about? You know, because we have some talking heads that literally lie to people in the midst of conversation or twist information in order to bend it the way they want it bent. So it's like, how do we do this? It's interesting.
They're poisoning the blood of our country. That's what they've done. But all over the world, they're coming into our country from Africa, from Asia, all over the world. They're pouring into our country. Nobody's even looking at them. They just come in.
MAGA will go down not as a movement of faith, but as a cult of hypocrisy. And that's where the old question comes in. What would Jesus do? Spoiler, Jesus never said a word about deporting immigrants. He did say, I was a stranger and you welcomed me. He himself started life as a refugee when his parents fled to Egypt. By today's MAGA logic, baby Jesus should have been deported back to Herod to be slaughtered. Think about that.
That's true.
But these MAGA brains can't handle the truth. It shatters their alpha male cosplay. They'd rather pretend Jesus ran Border Patrol than admit he was a brown-skinned refugee with no papers. They'd lie about their own lives, blame immigrants for everything, and think faith is about the laziest shortcut to heaven. So yeah, asking what would Jesus do is too advanced for this crew. The good liars probably would have gotten clear answers if they asked, what would Scooby-Doo do? Because, let's face it, MAGA's stuck in a Saturday morning cartoon, chasing fake villains and never solving the real mystery. Why they can't live by their very Bible they claim to love. After all the back and forth...
He spins metaphors and shit. He funny.
In their high-top gold sneakers, probably with matching MAGA diapers, decked out head to toe in Trump merch, it's laughable. They strut around pretending they're important. But in reality, they're just living vicariously through the biggest con man in American history. They picked a hell of a role model. Absolutely horrific. But here's what stuck out to me most. Jason Selvig stumps this guy with a simple question. And when he's caught flat-footed, what does he say? He blurts out, well, Jesus would deport the Pharisees. Like that was supposed to be some brilliant answer. At first, I didn't even get the joke. I thought, what the hell is this guy even talking about? So I did what I always do. Now look.
Jesus would deport the Pharisees. What the hell is this guy even talking about?
Yeah. And folks, let me tell you, it's not pretty. Pharisees weren't the heroes. Pharisees were the hypocrites. The ones Jesus called out again and again. The one obsessed with the letter of the law while ignoring the heart of it. In Matthew 23, Jesus said it flat. You are like whitewashed tombs, beautiful on the outside, but inside full of dead man's bones. Sound familiar?
Yeah.
That guy wasn't describing some villains from 2,000 years ago. He was describing himself. He was describing the current MAGA cult. He was describing every single one of these modern-day Pharisees. Super Dud Dean Cain waddling his bloated self through the obstacle course. Kid Rock screaming at a beer can.
Okay.
Charlie Kirk with his discount hair gel smirk.
Oh,
Bill
God.
Johnson, the human clickbait machine. Ted Nugent still pretending to be relevant. Christy Nome melting into a meme. Pam Bondi, Caroline Levitt, J.D. Vance with his couch potato loyalty. And yes, Donald Trump himself.
Yeah.
Cheating on the golf course, ripping people off, breaking every law he can while calling himself chosen by God. That's the crew. That's the Pharisees Club. They're the ones strutting around waving the flag, clutching the Bible, but on the inside, rot, corruption, greed, hate. They are the very people Jesus was condemning. And the irony, one of their own just admitted it on camera without even realizing it. And if Jason Selvig showed us the cartoon theology, Davram Stifler gave us the circular logic Olympics. He walked up on this woman, asked her the simplest question about deportation, and suddenly she's talking in circles tighter than a NASCAR track. First she says, I'm not for deporting all illegals. I think the ones who haven't committed a crime should get due process.
That's fair.
Okay, makes sense, right?
Yeah, it makes
Kind of
sense.
like they did before Donald Trump. But then Davron calmly points out that ICE is deporting people without due process, people who haven't committed crimes. So naturally you'd think she'd be against that. But no, she backpedals. I didn't say that. He pressed on. So you're against what's happening right now. And she swerves again. Well, they should be vetted and screened. He kept after it though, but they're not. So you're against that. She does another loop. That's all I'm going to say. Frustrated and upset with life, she then admits she's against one small thing that Trump did. But she did it grudgingly and without resolve. Because unresolved resentment and conspiracy theories are what bind this looming MAGA crowd together. It's not the love of God, country, or patriotism. It's devotion to falsehoods, misinformation, and bullshit. And that right there is MAGA logic in a nutshell. A hamster wheel of nonsense. They start with a half-reasonable thought, then spin themselves into oblivion because they can't say out loud what they actually believe. Cruelty first, humanity never. They can't admit that. Law and order. For them, it's just a slogan, not a principle. It's a do as I say, not as I do cult that worships a senile diaper-wearing, shit-stinking, hankles with taco tits.
This dude's spazzing. How long you gonna spazz
It's
for?
dumbfounding to me how people can be so
Oh
selfish.
shit! I'm okay. He going in on him, so I'm gonna let him get like. He going in on the MAGA bunch. You know what I mean? But hey, man. Everybody's entitled to have an opinion. I have no issue with either group. I just like listening to everybody talk and hear different opinions from both sides. And that's all we got, folks. Anyways, I'm out. Peace.